This is just a opening for what we hope is going to be one of the most interesting urban events of the year. We're announcing the kickoff of the India Urban Conference 2011, which brings together a very interesting partnership. Let me quickly introduce my colleagues who are sitting at the dais, Professor Shivram Krishnan from Yale and Ramesh Ramanathan from Janaagraha. We came together almost a year ago to try and create a platform that will enable a whole series of very interesting debates about the future of Indian urbanization, the current challenges that we have, and the way forward. After this kickoff event here, we will move to the largest urban conference that's being held in this year at the Infosys Training Center in Mysore from the 17th to 20th of November. We hope that we will have about 600 to 700 people from across the country, from the national level, from state level and local policy-making institutions, people who are involved in implementing programs, practitioners, academics, students, civil society leaders, and industry stakeholders. This is the second event. The first event actually was at New Haven in Yale, which is an academic conference that brought together academics from North America, from Europe, and other parts of the world to discuss urban India. Today's event is a panel discussion, and as I mentioned earlier, the Urban India Conference and the Sankranti Student Challenge will be held between the 17th and 20th of November. And we close off on the 22nd of November with the Delhi Policy Conference, which will again bring together some of the top people in the country. The conference in Mysore will be kicked off by the Union Minister for Housing and Urban Poverty Alleviation, Kumari Sarja, and the valedictory address will be given by the Minister for Law and Urban Development of the Government of Karnataka. There are 8 broad themes, and partners who are working on these themes are some of the best people in the country. As I mentioned earlier, we expect about 600 public and private sector practitioners, academics, and students to come into this program. Finally, we bring that together in Delhi on the 21st evening, and finally the Delhi Policy Conference that tries to pull together a lot of this experience, because this country has remarkable amount of innovation happening at city level with civil society organizations, governments, municipalities, and the private sector working together. We're bringing all of that experience to the policy conference, which is a one-day event, which features 3 union ministers, the Union Minister for Rural Development, the Union Minister for Housing and Urban Poverty Alleviation again, and finally the Union Minister for Urban Development, Kamal Nath.
The Yale India Initiative was established in 2008, so about 3 years ago, and it's been working on 4 broad fronts. The first one could call building capacity at Yale to teach and research modern and contemporary India, and in fact to become one of the preeminent centers for the study and teaching and research on India anywhere in the world. And with this goal in mind, we've been hiring new faculty and involving existing faculty in work on India, and at this point have made almost a dozen appointments in the last couple of years across various disciplines. Another part of this is developing new courses and supporting the activity of students, undergraduates, graduate students, PhD students, postdoctoral researchers who are working on India, doing research about modern and contemporary India in their respective fields, including students from both the Faculty of Arts and Sciences and various professional schools like the School of Architecture, the School of Forestry and Environmental Studies, the Law School, the Business School, Health Sciences, and so forth. As a complex open society, India has formidable questions to answer, but the way it finds answers to these questions can also be instructive to other societies that are perhaps less open and less developed in terms of their research capacity. So my hope for this engagement, this innovative model of collaboration, is that ideally the work we have begun will benefit India, of course, but also make India a source of new cutting-edge research on urban issues that is beneficial to other countries like Asia and Africa, which face some of the same problems.
Unless we understand urban better, we will not be able to respond to the urban possibilities better. And how do we understand it better unless we do this systematically? Because as you've seen in India, we are an argumentative society. So we like to take positions and we like to debate each other. But unfortunately, we tend to do that without the basis of data. So when that happens, you're confronted with this wave of urbanization but you don't have the tools to respond to it. Should we have a mass transport system in every city in the country, which is, let's say, a metro-based system? How do we fund the metro-based system in Delhi? How do we subsidize that? How do we do that? Is investing in a metro-based system at, let's say, thousands of crores more important than making sure that everybody has housing? How do we ensure that the environmental consequences of urbanization, because just to give you one data point, Bangalore used to be 250 square kilometers 5 years ago. It is 750 square kilometers today. What did it grow into? How do you address the challenges of affordable housing in slums? Well, if you look at the design of the Mysore conference, there are 8 themes. It's there in your kit. There's urban education, urban health, urban culture, urban inclusion, urban infrastructure, and a few others, urban governance, and so on, urban planning. Each of these themes is not being designed by us. Each of these is being anchored by a subject matter expert, by a practitioner, and not a theorist. Never before have you seen a pure academic research university setting research institution, research-focused institution like Yale, truly world-class, truly respected across the world, which is coming here, partnering with an institution like IIHS, a very ambitious initiative to set up a world-class university focused on urban in India, partnering with a practitioner organization like us. Janaagraha is based in Bangalore, but our ambition is to fundamentally transform the quality of life in urban India. And for that, we as a practitioner have learned over the last 10 years that we can't do this just by doing grassroots work. That we've got to take our experiences from the grassroots, connect it with research so that we have the rigor of good thinking to the ideas that we are generating, and then convert that into advocacy work so that it can reach the parliament and the state assembly houses where the policies actually take shape.